What's up, guys? Welcome back. Ooh, let's get it. Let's get it. Okay, chill. Okay, I was inspired by a topic from a podcast with Dr. Huberman. So it's the Huberman Lab by Andrew Huberman, who is a neuroscientist, podcaster, a professor in Stanford University School of Medicine. I remember. Yeah, and he was having this conversation with David Goggins, who is a former Navy SEAL, and he also does books, podcasts, and all these crazy things. The point of this podcast was to talk about mindset, pretty much the realness of things and the growth mindset, mental strength, and all these things. But specifically, this what I'm about to say right now has a connection. So stay with me, okay? So basically, Dr. Huberman was talking about a specific part of the brain called anterior mid-cingulate cortex, which basically, this is new research that he was saying, but I learned this because I thought it was crazy. So it grows in size and it decreases in size depending on the level of activity that you do on things that you don't want to do. So what he was saying was that athletes have a bigger anterior mid-cingulate cortex, including the people that live really long and people that are pretty much obese, stuff like that. They have much smaller one. If you do more of the things that you don't want to do, basically that grows in size, which in reality is a positive thing. And so what this came up was because David Goggins does a lot of shit that he doesn't want to do, right? And I can relate to that because now with this recovery, I am kind of forced. Well, I'm not forced, but I have to start learning how to walk like this. And honestly, I don't want to walk. I don't want to walk because one, my body hurts, okay? My legs get sore, my calves get sore. My body wants to sit down a lot. It wants to just rest. And this topic of conversation just inspired me because I don't do a lot of things that I want to do. What the sport of MMA does is that it forces you to do things you don't want to do. That's why it's called growth. And I remember going to train in the beginning of the years in MMA, and including now, there are times that I do not want to go train, I do not want to go work out, but I force myself. I still do it regardless of my emotions. And so I thought it was crazy because I've trained all my life for situations like this, setbacks like this. In other words, the reason why I feel like I'm handling this injury recovery much better than last one. So the last one was 5 years ago. I ruptured my right Achilles tendon, and that shit was bogus, and I didn't want to talk to anybody. I felt really low, and I felt really depressed, and that shit like it sucked. It fucking sucked. It was my first like real injury, and that shit scared the shit out of me, and I was like, fuck, I'm probably gonna die. I know. That's how dramatic I am sometimes. Okay, maybe I'm not dramatic most of the time. Going back to the conversation, this injury is another test, and I see it as a challenge because I've always done things that I don't want to do. I don't want to go to do physical therapy because one, it costs money, and many of you guys know that shit is expensive. Surgeries are expensive. Paying for all these bills, medical bills are expensive. And yes, I'm just saying that this is all on me. I'm not saying, I'm not blaming. I'm just venting and pretty much letting you know where my mindset's at. But yes, a lot of things require sacrifice of money, sacrifice of time with people, sacrifice of me trying to have fun or go dancing, right? I love dancing, and you guys know that I dance at home times because I want to feel free and move my body and just move, and it feels so fucking good. But now I don't, not as much. I just basically I just shimmy. Yes, I just shimmy. I don't do a lot of movement, but now I am starting to walk. And so I'm just bringing a lot of things. So I'm just very excited. But what I see, it's the byproduct of my effort, the byproduct of my seriousness towards recovering and towards taking my health seriously. And I believe that I've done a better job at listening to my body and not be too stubborn. I am a stubborn person, but I'm learning to handle my stubbornness in a positive way where I am stubborn to get up and walk because yes, I don't want to walk, but I do it because I want to get healthy and I want to go back to the sport, and I want to go back to living my regular life. I'm not a big person that believes in limitation, because I want to say that I train myself to not feel limited. And therefore, I still go out with my friends. I still have some fun, and I still do what I got to do. And it's only been 1 month in physical therapy, and I've done a better job at listening. And I do it. I listen to the physical therapist, and thank God I am walking now. So all comes down to the fact that I've trained myself with MMA to do things that I don't want to do. But besides the fact that I also cook, I don't want to cook. Some of you guys know in my Patreon that I do my meal preps. I do my meal preps often because, one, I need to eat, and it helps me save money. And I also see results better when I have a meal. I don't have to think about any other meals, and I just focus on eating the right things. My mom is a cook. My sisters love to cook. And me, I'm just... What I'm saying is that there's going to be times in our lives that we're going to be forced to do things we don't want to do. But those are we have to look into the things that are worth doing, right? Another example is me recording for you guys. I know it feels freeing to express myself, but I also have to put time into doing this. And I also have to put time into making sure the video is on point, or I get my point across. And then I edit it or do whatever I need to do, post it or schedule it to post. And basically, it's a work in progress. Thank God I have about 2,200 subscribers on YouTube. And maybe one day there's going to be a lot more. But if I don't train myself to do the things that I don't want to do, imagine later when I have 100,000 and maybe I get to 1 million one day. So if that's the case, I need to be ready for that. So in other words, when we do things that we don't want to do, it prepares us for the future if we want it. So I want to go back to the sport. I want to go back to training. I want to go back to dancing. I want to go back to living my life. And slowly but surely it's happening. 2 months post-surgery, and I am feeling better. So I am only working out 3 times a week, and I am still healthy. So I am not limited. I'm still doing what I don't want to do, and it's getting positive results. So that. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys want to listen to the podcast, it's like about 2 hours, but it's worth it. So other than that, you guys can follow me on all over social media, Nene MMA, as well as my patreon.com/Nene MMA. Okay, let them. Hi, excuse me. Hey!